Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
So everybody's going to get a random player board. There's two sides that go together like a puzzle. And then you take your mountain pieces out and randomly put them around. And then what's going to happen is everybody's going to start out with 4 random, like these domino tiles. And what you're going to do is you're going to place one of these out to start the game. You can do it in player order or whatever. And you will start out with a mountain token that you will have off to the side, and you'll kind of have something that you can build off of. And then everybody's going to draw another tile, and you'll start the game off with 4 tiles. And I'm going to kind of set these up here off to the side, but it's important to note that there's always 5 tiles that are face up. And so these will be what the players will be choosing from in the pool. So you don't just take a random tile, you take one from these 5, so you always kind of have a knowledge of what's coming down the pike. So on a given turn, you're going to have 4 tiles. You're going to place one of these down. Now, when you place a tile, it has to be connected when it's already played. It can't be diagonal. It has to be orthogonal. And then at least one of the sides have to match. So, for example, if I played this here, that's a good move. I could put it here, or I could play it here. I could not play it here, and I could not play it here or anywhere else on the board. So it has to touch orthogonally, and it has to match up. So let's say I wanted to play it here. You're going to get the number that you're covering up. So I'm going to be covering up this 2. That's going to give me 2 food points. And it's important to have a distinction between food points and shelter points. Right now, we're going to concentrate just on food points, and I'll come back to shelter points. Now, if I place this here, that's fine. I would get the 2 food points, and I would move my tracker up with this circular one, which represents the food points. And then I would look at the back of the rule book, and I would get a bonus. Because I matched up the 2 water, I would get a water bonus. In this case, the water allows me to swap one of my tiles that I had left over with one from the back. Now, I have a bones that I'm playing here. Already got one of those, has fire on the end. I'm kind of looking through this. I have a pretty good setup. Maybe I won't use it, but just for purposes I can illustrate, I can just swap one of those out, and now I have this. Now, at the end of my turn, I will then draw a tile from here, and we will refresh the pool right away, and it will be the next player's turn. But let's talk about what I did here. So I covered up a 2 and a 3. I got the 2 food points. Maybe I don't want to cover up the 3 there because that might be something I'd want later. This might be a better move here because I can cover up a 2 and I'm only burning that 1. Maybe that's a better move. Now on a future turn, maybe I'd want to divvy this in to here. So let's fast forward a little bit further in the game, and here we have a situation where I built out, and now I want to kind of build into here. So I can build into here, and as long as there's a mountain tile there, I'm going to get 5 points. If there were not a mountain tile, it'd be 3. And each section you go to may have, this one's 7 and 5, has different points. I will then gain this mountain tile, set it aside. We'll work on that in just a second. But I've also got 5 shelter points. I will utilize the shelter points with this token on the scoring track. I'll come back to this in just a moment. Now, another thing I know is I've been getting these mountain tokens. I can always utilize these mountain tokens by once again looking at the scene bonuses. And they're just opportunities for me to kind of break the rules. The only ones that have special rules are the mammoth one, which just gives me one of the stakes. So I can take one of these stakes. I'll come back to those as you're collecting them. And this one right here will just allow my shelter points to go up by 3. So when you're connecting these tiles, you're going to get the bonus, and then sometimes you get a bonus when you have these, and you can keep these and use these whenever you want during your turn. This will continue on until the game ends. You'll be filling up your board. If at any point you can't fill up the board, then you would flip over all the tiles that you've played, because you've already scored those, and you're abandoning that tribe, abandoning it, and you would start a new one. Then you would start over just like at the beginning of the game. Maybe you would start over here with another tribe. You could just never connect to the old tribe. That's kind of how that works. The only other trick of the game is, remember I told you you're going to be scoring food points and shelter points. So if my shelter points is up to 11, and my food points is only up to 6, that's fine. But if the game were to end here, whatever one is your highest will come off the board. You will not score, and you'll score your lowest. So it keeps you from getting your shelter points up to 34, but keeping your food tokens really low, or vice versa. You want to be careful because you're only going to score the lowest. So if this was my score, I'm going to score 5 points. If this was my score, I would still only score 5 points. But if this was my score, I'm going to score the 14 that's there because my highest one won't score. So you always want to be careful of how much you're pushing something up because you want to balance it because you're only going to score the lowest amount. Now, getting back to the stakes really quickly, the stakes are set collection. If you're able to get those through the mammoth, you can only score when you play a mammoth tile. One of these, not the mountain tiles, but one of these tiles, and you get the bonus, you can sell them all. So if you're able to collect 5 of them, you get 10 points, 3 is worth 5. So the more that you can collect and try to trade in, the more food points you're going to get. And whoever has the highest score is the winner of the game.